Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another video of World on Fire. As always, I have some more breaking news I would like to share with you all, so let's jump right into it. So, as I was saying yesterday, the story about Israel hitting Iran with a guided missile and assassinating the leader of the Sand People is pretty unbelievable, and as it turns out, not true. Whenever breaking news happens, whether it be war doom, politics, or you fill in the blank, the truth sooner or later always comes out. As of now, according to sources confirmed to Axios and other reports that I personally have seen, there was a planted IED device in the room where the senior terrorist was staying at months in advance, and the IED device was detonated remotely once Israel's CIA Mossad confirmed he was there. Again, this is the latest news that I have seen, and this story can always change. More recent news today, it has actually been pretty quiet. Not as quiet as yesterday, but still quiet. There was a rocket attack by Hezbollah tunnel rats today. They launched around 60 rockets, and the IDF quickly responded and took out the launch platform from where the rockets were fired from. There were no casualties, and the rockets that did make it into Israeli territory fell in open land. There was no damage reported. In other news, there has been more preparations for the incoming attack. There's been more dick measuring contests today with the different players involved. An Israeli hacker group claimed to take out Tehran's Wi-Fi networks, and Israel is now considering a preemptive strike against Iran. It is unclear if this means tactical nukes or airstrikes. There's been limited news on this. And if Iran waits too long, Israel just might preemptively attack them. The U.S. is also standing by their statements to protect and support Israel of these incoming attacks. Now, I know I make jokes about the Freemen, but I want to be very clear. This is a serious threat to Israel. Iran has attacked Israel in April. This has happened before, but I, like many others, know that this time is going to be very different. I'm sure Israel right now is even locking their back doors. Iran has supposedly already given orders to other terrorist factions across the Middle East, including but not limited to Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and Lebanon. I've also seen reports that the Iranian army will join the IRGC in this attack, something that did not happen in April. Now, the significance of this, while the Iranian army protects the country's sovereignty, the IRGC is largely aimed at defending the Islamic Sand Bandit Republic of Iran against internal and external threats. They are like the United States National Guard compared to the United States Navy, for example. On top of this, I have also seen reports that Iran will be using more advanced missiles than April's attack. This could include Iran's Fatah 1 and Fatah 2 supersonic missiles. Things are still escalating, and there is no doubt in my mind is Iran is going to attack Israel along with its Sand Sledder Legion. As always, I have some news that I would like to share with you all, so let's cover those stories. So, the explosive device that killed Hania was detonated remotely by Mossad operatives who were on Iranian soil after receiving intelligence that Hania was in the room, two sources with knowledge of the issue confirmed to Axios. Behind the scenes, the sources said Israeli intelligence learned which facility and which exact room Hania stayed in during his visits to Tehran. The bomb was planted in the room in advance, the sources said. They added that the bomb was a high-tech device that used artificial intelligence. It was detonated remotely by Mossad operatives who were on Iranian soil after receiving intelligence that Hania was indeed in the room. Ongoing assessments by U.S. defense officials believe that a potential Iranian retaliatory strike will be similar to their attack against Israel on April 13th, involving possibly hundreds of long-range ballistic and cruise missiles alongside one-way attack drones. But with this attack being likely much larger and more complicated than before, including the possibility of a coordinated attack by Hezbollah and other Iranian-backed backed groups from multiple fronts, officials are also deeply concerned that this attack could be simultaneous and widespread targeting of U.S. bases and troops in Syria, Iraq, and possibly other countries across the Middle East. Things are very escalating. We are seeing more news of Iran threatening different countries and different regions within the Middle East. This very well could turn into a regional war very quickly. I also to note, Iranian drones. They have been supplying them to Russia. I believe they are called the Shayad one-way attack drones, is what Iran calls them. They have been proven to be very effective against Ukraine and NATO equipment inside of Ukraine. Now I'm not sure if I remember correctly. I do think that these drones were launched on the April 13th attack, but only this time I believe that they are going to launch even more. So, Israeli settlers are rushing to leave the country due to the impending Iran and Hezbollah attack. This happened last time when they were attacked before the April 13th attack. This is pretty standard protocol for a lot of citizens living in Israel. All right, so Tayyip Erdogan, the president of Turkey, who is a NATO member, has declared that August 2nd will be a national day of mourning for the death of Hamas chief political leader Ismail Haniyeh. Turkey has been ramping up their war rhetoric against Israel and condemning the attack that happened in both Lebanon and Tehran. So they do want to say in this fight, and they have been making waves between Turkey and Israel. So, poll of Israeli Channel 14, 61% of settlers are in favor of launching a preemptive strike on the resistance axis. This means Lebanon and Iran and all those other, countries. 35% of settlers favor a limited battle and a further political settlement. 4% don't know. So as of this time, and this is, just a single poll, but based off of what this poll is saying, most of the Israelis, most of Israel's citizens are in favor of preempting Iran. Update: Jordan becomes the first Arab state that agrees to intercept any Iranian missiles that pass through its skies. Jordan did the same thing on April 13th attack. This is also nothing new. This is just them saying that they're going to do it again. Also, to note that Iran has said this last time, they didn't do anything about it last time. That could be different this time. Um, Iran has said this twice now on the April 13th attacks and for these attacks, that if any other country gets involved, they will also become legitimate targets. Again, Iran threatened that on April 13th and nothing happened, but they are saying that again. Israeli hacker group takes responsibility for collapse of Wi-Fi in Iran. During tonight's calls between U.S. President Poopy Pants and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the deployment of additional U.S. military assets to support Israel's defense against ballistic missiles and drones was discussed, as fears of a major coordinated attack by Iran, Hezbollah, and other Iranian-backed groups across the region continue to rise. So, President Brandon spoke today with Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. The president reaffirmed his commitment to Israel's security against all threats from Iran, including its proxy terrorist groups Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. The president discussed efforts to support Israel's defense against threats, including against ballistic missiles and drones. To include new defensive U.S. military deployments, together with his commitment to Israel's defense, the president stressed the importance of ongoing efforts to escalate broader tensions in the region. Vice President Harris also joined the call. This is just a campaign stunt by Harris. She just wanted to be a part of it to look good for the press. This is Biden, though, sticking by his word that he is going to stand by his word and protect Israel against these attacks that are incoming. This is going to include the U.S. fleet that I believe is either in Cyprus right now or on their way to Cyprus to shoot down those some of those missiles that would be launched at Israel from Iran. They did this on the April 13th attack, and they're going to do the same thing. Update: Israeli minister evacuated to underground bunkers and were handed emergency satellite phones earlier today. So I can confirm that the ministers were given the satellite phones. However, I'm not entirely sure if they went to the bunkers. I'm not sure if that is true yet. When this kicks off, yes, I'm sure that they will be in the bunkers. But as of right now, I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not. So here's a video of some of Iran and Hezbollah's missiles. I thought it would be interesting to share with you guys. Iran and Hezbollah alone has tens of thousands of rockets. No, and don't forget about Iran, which has even more than that. If I'm not mistaken, I think this video was made from Hezbollah, but I could be wrong. And again, this is a propaganda piece, but it does show off some of the missiles and advanced weaponry that they have in those tunnels. Again, propaganda piece, them saying that they're going to strike the oil refineries and strategic locations inside of Israel. And I do believe that they are going to try and strike these targets. Now, if they're going to be successful or not, that is yet to be seen. All right, that's enough of that. Sky News claims the time the Iranian army will also attack Israel along with the IRGC. I already talked about this earlier, so let's move on. The Israeli Broadcasting Authority, the Iranian response may target bases in the center of the country, unlike the attack last April. So, yes, Iran has claimed that they are going to try and strike military bases. In that last video that was posted by either Hezbollah or Iran, we saw them targeting the Ben Gurion airport inside of Israel. They are going to, this is going to be a way more sophisticated attack than the April 13th attacks. And there will be many more targets for Iran to hit than the April 13th attacks. So, Hamas, we call for a day of rage today, Friday, in condemnation of the assassination of Hania and in rejection of the genocide in Gaza. So, the last few days, it's been the terrorist days of mourning or wherever, where they want to go cry and hug their donkey wives, but now they're all angry and pissed off, and now is the time that they might actually do something. Israeli sources to the Israeli Broadcasting Corporation. Tel Aviv is currently preparing to respond to the possible Iranian attack. So this is Israel saying that, once they're attacked, they're coming up with options to also strike Iran back directly. Internet outages reported in Tehran. This is the result of the claimed Israeli hacker group that took down their Wi-Fi's earlier today inside of Tehran. Breaking: Channel 12, widespread deployment of Israeli air defense systems. So Israel is still getting prepared. There has been more troop movements and deployments. They're bringing all of their defensive anti-missile systems out and putting them into position and deploying them. So this is from War Hack Lindsey Graham. I thought it would be interesting to show this to you guys because this guy has always wanted a war with Iran. He's one of the biggest war hawks inside of Washington, D.C. I thought it would be relevant to show you guys what he said today. It is always good for any American administration to reassure Israel that we have their back against Iran and their proxies and will provide the necessary defensive capability. However, it is long past time to start talking about offense when it comes to Iranian threats against Israel, the United States, and the world. Iran is running wild throughout the region. As my recent legislation indicates, an attack by Hamas, Hezbollah, and or the Houthis against Israel should be considered an attack by Iran. All these proxies are provided weapons and funds by the Iranian regime to spread their terror. Israel should have every right to not only defend its territory from Iranian attacks, but also hit the regime hard. The Ayatollah and his henchmen have one source of revenue: oil and gas sales. You put their refineries at risk and their behavior changes. The best way to prevent escalation is to show a willingness to go on offense. Now is the time. Lindsey Graham has called out that we should attack the Iranian oil fields. He's been saying this. Like I said, Lindsey Graham has a total war boner for war. This guy has always wanted to go to war, and he might finally get his wish at this point. So, okay, Channel 14, Israel. Israel is considering a preemptive strike on Hezbollah and Iran. I believe I said that earlier today, but this also mentioned Hezbollah. U.S. officials and intelligence agencies are extremely concerned after they have noted movement of Iranian military bases and underground missile bases at Kermanshah, Tabriz, and Mahabad and Bandar Abbas, whatever towns in Iran. They are moving their missiles and getting ready and starting to deploy them and bring them out of their tunnels. U.S. intelligence is concerned that Iran will use its higher-end missiles, this time to hit its military bases and targets in Israel. Meanwhile, simultaneously overwhelming the Israeli Air Force air defense systems by using its proxies. So, yes. Go back to me for a second. So, yes, I believe that Iran's plan here is to overwhelm Israel's air defense systems by launching hundreds, if not thousands, of rockets by not only Iran, but Hezbollah, the Yemeni Houthis, other factions inside of Iraq and Syria. I believe that they are getting prepared and getting coordinated with each other to all launch at the same time at Israel. This is very quite concerning because Israel said that if Iran and its proxies do significant damage to Israel, Israel will return fire and strike Iranian soil back. We could very well get into a tit for tat situation if this thing really does go that far sideways. If Israel mostly defends itself with all its air defense and the U.S. and with currently the U.S. and Jordan's support, it may not be as bad. They may not decide to attack Iran directly, but if all of their efforts fail and Iran is able to do damage inside of Israel, Israel is considering attacking Iranian soil directly back. Things are getting quite interesting, but as always, I will keep you all updated. Thank you for watching. Please go ahead and follow WOF Doom on Twitter for the latest updates. Kingzor out.